Hello Internet, I am the Hero of Julios, once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter, and I had to write it down, is Chapter 1094, Five Elders, Godhead of Defense, Saint J. Garcia Saturn. It's amazing what you can do as a storyteller by just giving someone a silhouette, and then only a few months later, reveal one of those silhouettes to just get so many minds calculating in so many different directions. I know we want to talk about it right off the gun, but I do like doing things in order. Starting, of course, with the art for this week. We got Zoro, and we have a plethora of characters that are related to him one way or another. You got Kuina, you got her dad, you got, I want to call him Yasue. That's not his name. Hang on one second. Wikipedia is my friend. Never mind, it was Yasue. I just don't trust myself sometimes. But it's got a whole bunch of characters related to Zoro all together as Zoro's doing an epic pose. You got Ryuma in the background. I'm thinking that's the dragon he slayed in the background as a silhouette. But that's pretty much the art for this week, which is, it's nice because we only get one single panel with Zoro in it this week. Because most of what's going on is about Bonnie. And about Saint J. Garcia Saturn, which we'll get to. The chapter begins with Atlas giving the order to have the pacifistas turn coat. They are now serving the Vegapunks, and there is no one on the island with a higher authority than the Vegapunks, because, of course, the world's smartest man wouldn't actually give absolute authority to someone above him on his own creations, would he? I'd have to say in terms of sci-fi, Vegapunk is one of my favorite scientific characters, for no other reason than just, I like silly goofy stories, so a silly goofy scientist is perfect. They're very strong Jimmy Neutron vibes where like, your intention is to have this amazing thing happen, but you may end up accidentally blowing up half the city in the process and you gotta spend most of your day saving the town from the thing you caused. That's kind of how Vegapunk is in the One Piece world, at least from what we're seeing during these current problems. Well, with that, the pacifistas have turned. They are now listening to the Vegapunks, and they are attacking Marines left and right, as Bonnie is using this as an opportunity to get away. To escape a few Marines, she even uses her NDE ability, which allows her to give an opponent the glimpse of their death. It is a near-death experience, and it is actually terrifying. It's like that scene from Home Alone where the guy got electrocuted and then he turns into a skeleton for a little bit. I mean, I wonder what it would look like on Brook. Would he just relive his death? Because, I mean, if he saw himself as a skeleton, I mean, I guess comedically he'd probably scream, but then just immediately be like, oh yeah, that's just my reflection. So, hey, congratulations, we found someone immune to Bonnie's ability. Or, if Bonnie de-ages him enough, can she restore his flesh? Questions for later. While Bonnie is having this fight going on, meanwhile Vegapunk is currently heading down to search for her, with Sanji, Frankie, and Atlas helping, and he explains to Frankie how the Vega tank works. The Vega tank is this big metal orb that he's inside of, and it's got two big wheels. The wheels are made of island cloud, which naturally sticks to itself. So, as the tank is producing island cloud, in whichever direction he's turning the tracks, the wheels stick to it, allowing it to move up, down, left, right. It's like the Willy Wonka go anywhere elevator. But as they're moving about and Vegapunk is explaining this thing, Sanji's just like, I sense Bonnie, she's right over there. And Frankie's like, are you sure? And Sanji just looks at him and goes, when has my radar ever been wrong about women? And he just leaps off to go save her. Which is very fortunate because as Bonnie is ducking and weaving, she comes across a pacifista coming towards her. And while the pacifista are supposed to be on her side now, because she's with the Vegapunks, the pacifista tells her, you're not passing through here. because this particular pacifista is being controlled by Vice Admiral Bluegrass and her Ride Fruit ability, which allows her to become the rider to anything or anyone that she mounts. What's interesting about this ability is, one, she says anyone, so what is the extent of that? Can she take over the free will? Because she made the pacifista talk. Is that just because the pacifista was a machine, or because it was humanoid that she could make it talk? Like, if she jumps on my shoulders, can she make me say things, or is it just being able to control my body? It's a really interesting devil fruit. Very, very reminiscent of, there's this character in Overwatch, Sombra, who her quote is, anything can be hacked, and anyone. So the Ride Fruit allows her to control this pacifista, and it's getting ready to fire at Bonnie, because she's like, hey, if I take you out, all my subordinates are going to change back to their original ages, right? And the pacifist is powering up, and Bonnie is just standing there because it's her dad. And as we've established before, she can't do anything in the face of Bartholomew Kuma. Fortunately for her, Sanji gets to her just in time, knocking her out of the way and saying, hey, look, I know it's your dad, but we can't space out like this, so let's go. And Sanji runs off with her. Meanwhile, Luffy and Kizaru are still duking it out. Sanji and Rob Lucci are duking it out down below, and Luffy's fighting Kizaru, and Kizaru's like, listen, man, I know you and I need to go at this because, you know, plot reasons, but I'm just here to kill Vegapunk, so could you, like, leave me alone so I can do my job? And Luffy's like, actually, I'm doing my job right now, keeping you from, where are you going? As Kizaru turns into light and flies away, so Luffy spins his legs up and launches himself after Kizaru. And it's at that moment that we get a panel of Kizaru, Luffy, Lucci, Zoro, Jinbei, probably any character with some degree of observation haki, sensing something otherworldly appearing. Jinbei even says something otherworldly has just arrived. What's interesting to me is Rob Lucci and Kizaru looking shocked. I'm wondering how much about the Gorosei is known. Because as we get deeper into this chapter, we see the true form of Saint J. Garcia's, I'm going to guess it's the hybrid. He does have a devil fruit zone type. But how much of that does the world at large know? Because if this is something that will shock an admiral to see happen, I can only imagine how terrified the regular people watching this are. And more importantly, if Jay Garcia is bigger on the no witnesses part of this mentality. So as this is going on, Vegapunk in the Vega tank is circling around as a giant summoning circle starts appearing on the ground with a big star and 5 number 5s. I'm going to guess either the 5 stands for the 5 Elder Stars, and this is something they can do to teleport themselves around, or this means that Saturn is number 5 in this group, which either implies he's the strongest or the weakest if we're going to go power scaling. Not really good at doing power scaling myself. But what's more important is that is basically a demonic summoning circle. As a giant bull minotaur horned spider-like body, Garcia Saturn comes rising out with his little cane. Well, I guess not a little cane anymore because, you know, he's a big guy. But he just comes out and he goes, "Pacifistas, stand down." And of course they all do, because Vegapunk, you really didn't put in a failsafe here. Like, dude is one trusting scientist. I either that or I'm a super untrusting scientist, because there's absolutely no way I would ever give the supreme authority command to a death machine that can kill me, to people that have a record of killing people that they don't need anymore. I I have strong opinions about Vegapunk. I really, really like this character. I just really, really don't like the way he's handled his authority system. But enough about that. The distraction of a giant bull Spider-Man coming out of the ground was just enough for Kizaru to look on in awe, for Luffy to come over and hit him with a Gum Gum Star Gun. This is the same punch he used to, like, rubberize Kaido's face, literally pushing through it. And as he's punching Kizaru, Kizaru's like, am I literally seeing stars right now? What is this nonsense? As Kizaru has been formally welcomed to Cartoon World now. Population Luffy and every Looney Tune you've ever seen. So while Luffy is making that big punch against Kizaru, Saturn looks on at him and just says, Nika. And around him, you see Vegapunk on the ground, Atlas getting ready to defend him, Frankie helping Vegapunk get up, and Bonnie, of all people, charging towards him with just the nearest sharp object she could find, this big old katana, and she leaps towards him, having these little flashbacks, which I assume are from Kuma's memories, of Garcia giving the order to Vegapunk. Something along the lines of Vegapunk saying no, that will erase his humanity, and Saturn saying, I have given the order, as Bonnie just yelling Saturn, and she stabs him right in the chest. We see a little bit of blood coming out. So, fun fact, at least the guy can bleed. That's a start. Absolutely no clue what this devil fruit is. I am very bad at guessing this sort of thing, but I did see a couple comments and ideas here and there. I try to avoid other people's ideas before I make my videos, but I always end up seeing comments or thumbnails or things like that, which led me to learning about a certain Japanese yokai known as an Ushi Oni. From what little I know, an Ushi Oni is a head of a bull, body of a spider yokai that I think it like eats people. I doubt St. J. Garcia is going to start eating people right now, but it's an interesting, probably mythological zone type devil fruit. He either has maybe like acidic spit or he can shoot webs. Black Maria had an ancient spider devil fruit, so this is kind of a step up. On the note of spider-based devil fruits, that did remind me about Black Maria and how we never actually saw her full spider form. I know Oda said that she used drugs to change her hybrid form, but I really hope we get to see the full spider form of Garcia's devil fruit. This is one of the end game enemies, and if it really is a mythological zone type fruit, I would like to see what it's fully capable of in all of its different forms. Kaido's got a mythical zone type that we got to see all the forms of, but that's pretty much the only thing I know right now about the Ushi Oni. I'm hoping I'll do a little more research, maybe learn a little more about it. Based on just what I saw surface level, that seems like what this is. But now the bigger question is, what are the other elders, and are they all mythical zone types? Because as much as I love mythical zone types, they are very cool. Luffy has one, it's very cool. We saw Kaido's, it's again very cool. I hope Oda didn't forget about Paramecia and Logia types. I'm hoping the other ones, at least one of them has a Paramecia, at least one of them has a Logia, because they're the other two classifications of devil fruits. I don't want this all to come down to just who has the better zone type. Even if, of course, in the end, Luffy's gonna win. Who knows what's gonna happen with that stabbing? Are we gonna get the Kuma flashback chapter that I've been asking for a bit? And what about Katakuri? Is he doing okay? The only reason I'm bringing up Katakuri right now is because my younger brother is running a Katakuri deck and he just won a local, so Katakuri is very fresh in my mind right now. But whatever happens next, I know I'm going to be reading along, and I hope you'll be too. Thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.